What's the best toddler complaint you have ever gotten? My toddler got mad that her poop came out in 2 pieces instead of 1. She accused my husband of cutting it while she was not looking. She knows about the poop knife. My daughter had a complete existential breakdown one day when she found out that she was going to have to pee every day of her life. Demanded to know how to say hola in Spanish, would not accept that hola was already Spanish. Cried for hours. Overheard at a grocery store, mom let her little boy pick out some ice cream. Kid chooses some sort of chocolate banana popsicle and mom says number. Kid starts crying. Mom says, I thought you did not like bananas. Kid immediately stops crying, says oh yeah, and picks something else. When my daughter was 3, I told her to stop trying to draw on the dog with crayons. She threw the crayon on the floor, looked me dead in the eye and yelled, Daddy, you are ruining my life. My daughter wanted to drink pure lemon juice and threw a fit when she was denied. I caved on the premise of natural consequences. 1 sip and she vomited. She never bugged us about it again. 5 Yo, you are old. Me, I am not that old, with a slight tone of indignation. How old do you think I am? 5 Yo, the last number. My nephew had a breakdown and cried when his boot wouldn't fit on his head like a hat. I yawned with my mouth really wide and my little sister told my mom I was trying to eat her. My daughter asked for strawberry ice cream from the grocery store when she was about 4. I bought it for her, and when we got home and she had some after dinner, she started crying. I asked why and she said, I wanted strawberry ice cream without bones. She didn't like the hard frozen pieces of strawberry in the ice cream that she picked out. I thought the idea of ice cream bones was funny. My legs are sparkling. Edit, my legs had fallen asleep. My niece recently was upset about being served food in the little bowl, and not the big bowl. When her food was moved from the little bowl to a big bowl for her, she had a meltdown. After a fair amount of crying, she was able to explain she did not want the food from the little bowl placed into the big bowl. I suppose once in the little bowl the food was forever tainted. It's the wrong same. Took weeks to figure out he was referring to the apricot and peach yogurts. My 6-year-old yelled, I am too tired to go to sleep, in a fit of delirium and rage. Cousin S3 Yo offers a goldfish to my Bill. Bill, no, thank you. 3 offers another goldfish. Bill, no, no thank you. 3 offers another goldfish. Bill, no thank you, buddy. 3 Grandma. Bill would not share. Sharing is mandatory in both directions, I guess. When my youngest was 3, he asked for a cheeseburger with no cheese, so I gave him a hamburger. Cue the meltdown, which for him meant sitting in his chair sobbing as he stared at his food. He also once had a breakdown because he hates pickles and I had pickles on my burger, he had none on his. Conversely, he once mistook a bottle of buffalo sauce for ketchup, and was surprised by the taste when he dipped his fries in it. He then refused ketchup and ate the whole meal using the buffalo sauce. He has never eaten buffalo sauce since. My little sister, laying on her back, staring straight into the lamps. My eyes hurt, then stopped staring at the lamp. No. LOL. My little brother, when he was 4, Yo liked ice cream so much so that whenever he got one he had be so delighted to eat it, but when he had be about to finish it he had begin sobbing that he did not want to finish it as he had have none left then. My wife woke the kids up and told them it was Monday so they needed to get ready for school. Do not like Monday, hate Monday, you are Monday. Directed at wife. Edit, this was from a 4-year-old. I have shared this one before but it is golden. Toddler I are in the truck for a 3-hour, mostly freeway trip. Toddler asks if she can have her window down, begs, says pretty please. Whines that she needs the window down. Answer is number. We are going 70 miles per hour for the next few hours. Thus begins the wailing. She cries, and cries, and cries. The window's not going down. I am tuning her out. No problem. The music is on. I am just driving and life is good. After probably 45 minutes of this, She slows down, gulps a few times, and in a tremulous voice asks, "Mommy, why am I crying?" I laughed so hard I nearly ran off the road. If you do not remember, I am not telling you, kid. After a couple slices of pizza, 3-year-old bursts into tears and says, "My mouth wants more but my tummy does not." Me too, kid, me too. My daughter about 5 threw a wadded up piece of paper at us and ran away. We opened it up and she had written, "Can I have a snake?" Wife yelled no, you may not, and my daughter then came back almost in tears to ask why not. She said, "I ate all of my dinner so why can't I have one?" Wife asked what that had to do with snakes, at which point we realized she had misspelled snack. Also, my son put us in a sort of reverse timeout once when he got angry. This consisted of him going into his room and refusing to come out, leaving us in peace and quiet. He essentially played himself. My boy cried when, after stuffing his sandwich in the VHS recorder early 90s, there was no movie about sandwiches. My 4-year-old brother told me my water is too soupy. I still have not quite figured it out. The 3-year-old found a mitten on the ground and put it on. He asked where the other one was and I said I did not know. He looked down and said, like it was a unique problem, "But I have 2 hands." I worked at a preschool from this October to December as an assistant teacher. We had a playroom next to the classroom and one day we decided to go in there to play. In there was a shelf with a lot of dinosaurs to choose from. A child came up to me and said he wanted to play with the dinos. I said okay. This child just sat on the floor and looked like he was having the crisis of his life. Then began to cry, and when I asked him what was wrong, he said there's too many dinosaurs to choose from. I watched a friend's kid have a total breakdown because he wanted to have eaten ice cream. The thing was, he had ice cream, it was his dessert, and it was in a bowl in front of him. He could eat it, but the fact that he had to go through the mechanical motions of eating, to get the later point in time where he had had ice cream, was really just too much for him to bear. Watching tiny humans grapple with cause and effect is fascinating. Was sitting at the entrance of the play place at a nearly empty Chick-fil-A. I don't know how, but there was barely anyone there when a little boy probably walked up to me, pointed at my sunburned face and said the 4 words that haunt me to this day, "Your nose is wrong." When my little sister was a toddler, she screamed she couldn't go to sleep because her pajamas were too spicy. She probably meant they were either too hot or too itchy. My 2-year-old puts her hand in front of the dog's mouth and cries when he licks her. My daughter once said, "I do not like it when you talk." Noted. Asked if she could have 1 piece of candy, and I said yes. She then asked, "Can we compromise?" And I replied that we did not need to compromise because she was already getting exactly what she wanted. Child proceeds to throw a tantrum until I agree that we can compromise. She eats her candy and leaves happily. Now that I've been working at home, I have a desk set up in my bedroom. Whenever I give my 3-year-old grief, he tells me to go back to work. I don't know if this is too gross, but when my son was 3, he had a tummy bug and came to me crying that his butt threw up. A 3-year-old girl I babysit was sad that the squirrel outside did not have a coat, and became angry that I did not have one on hand for him. 3-year-old Tyler says, "Uncle Tony, shave your whiskers." I say, "All of it." He says, "No, only the white ones." Wanting to put a diaper on for bed, not wanting to take the underwear off to put the diaper on. We have a growth room in our lab with intense purple lighting where upon leaving everything looks green for 15-30 seconds. Once we were giving a tour to a class of 4th graders and showed them this phenomenon. Once it wore off, one kid exclaimed, "Everything's back to normal." I hate normal. We have that quote saved on the fridge. I want milk in my soup, but I don't want it to be wet. My 3-year-old was at first very calmly and matter-of-fact telling me she wanted the proteins from the top of the fridge. There is only cereal and crackers on top of the fridge. I keep saying what? Her calm demeanor quickly devolves into pure disdain for my stupidity. She eventually throws her hands up and gets her mom. She wanted the saltine crackers. My 3-year-old had a meltdown because he was not in our 5-year-old wedding photos. He said we did not love him and that is why we did not even invite him to our wedding. When my nephew was 3 or 4, I found a cookie that he had stashed in a couch cushion. It was dry and gross and obviously had been there for a while. I immediately went and tossed it in the trash. My nephew saw this happen and immediately burst into tears. Full-on snotting, hysterical tears. Through his sobs he managed to choke out the words, "You do not throw away cookies." My husband and I use this saying often. My youngest got upset that the sun was setting and demanded his father make it rise back up in the sky. My 4-year-old is a picky eater, so he typically give her whole milk to get more calories in her. Once I have her one milk because it came with her kid's meal. I did not tell her it was any different. She takes a swig, puts it back down and says, "I want the good milk please." 6-year-old was falling behind during an afternoon walk back from the playground. Claimed it was so far his feet were bleeding into his socks faster than his body could absorb the blood. When I insisted he hurry, he said, "You go ahead, I have blazing speed and can catch you whenever I want." I previously posted this on our Daddit. Last night, my daughter Tuyo and I were finishing up Tubby Time. We put her toys on the ledge and began the ritual of me trying to convince her to climb out of the tub on her own with assistance so she does not slip and fall. During our standard back and forth time to dry off, "Let us climb out, please." "No." She paused, looked me in the eye, and said, "Poo poo." She quickly dropped into a squat and plopped out a decent-sized turd and a moderately-sized after nugget. She proudly stood up and glanced down at her handiwork. All heck broke loose. She immediately began screaming in terror and scrambling to get out of the tub, away from the fecal horrors her body wrought, and all but leaped into my arms. I was struggling to both hold onto a soaking wet toddler and make sure she did not smear any residuals on anything. I tried to get her to stand up so I could assess the contamination potential, but all efforts to put her down for a moment were soundly rebuffed. After taking her to her room and putting her on the changing pad, we wiped and wrapped her in her towel. She sat with her knees to her chest, crying, while I dried her off and rubbed her back and told her everything was alright. After she calmed down, I explained to her that it was alright that it happened. We just need to try to make it to the potty next time. She has been potty training for a few months, but our consistency has not been the best due to her little brother 3mo. She finally calmed down enough that we could finish getting her jammies on and brush her teeth before bedtime. After putting her down, I went and told my wife before completely losing it, nearly peeing my pants laughing. The look on my daughter's face when she realized that is what poop is was unmatched. Before that moment, she had only pooped in diapers and never actually saw what poop was, but that log on the bottom of the tub was an eye-opening experience for her. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.